what I would say is that I'm not going to, I definitely don't have it in me to go anywhere else. I can't put them through that after this year.
Well, Kyle Dubas is officially leaving Toronto. Being one of the youngest GMs in the league, Kyle Dubas would spend 5 years with the Toronto Maple Leafs, in which he would only make it past the first round in one season. That, of course, being this season in which they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, Dubas is responsible for the so-called Core 4 of the Toronto Maple Leafs, signing huge contracts like John Tavares and, of course, William Nylander. Now, in case if you haven't noticed, the top 4 players of this Leafs team, the so-called Core 4 that, Kyle Dubas thought would take them to the Stanley Cup Finals, takes up half the team's salary cap at $40 million. And of course, if you're going to blow half your team's salary cap on 4 guys, there's going to be so much pressure for these guys to produce, which we see every year, but unfortunately, they're nowhere to be found in the playoffs, and that's why, let's face it, they've only made it past the first round once in the past 5 seasons. Now, also something in the news that's been stirring up some controversy is Kyle Dubas said that he would not work with any other franchise if the Maple Leafs didn't call him back. Now, of course, I do not think this is true. I think if given the opportunity, he would go with another franchise, let's face it. Now, it's also pretty funny because you have so many people arguing on Twitter over whether or not he should be fired. I mean, just take a look at these tweets here. Kyle Dubas built one of the most successful teams on paper, and they weren't able to execute anything on the ice, but Kyle is the one that gets fired. So on the one hand of the coin, you have people basically saying that Dubas created a really good team, and it's not his fault that they, shut down in the playoffs. Now, on the other hand of the argument, just take a look at these tweets here. Kyle Dubas, 0 cups, 0 conference finals, fired. Kevin Holland, 4 cups, 9 conference final appearances, and I was told that Holland was the bad GM. Also, if you look at what this guy said over here, in the end, Kyle Dubas, the GM who gave too much money to too many players who never won anything, was fired because he wanted too much money, despite having not won anything. And honestly, at the end of the day, the NHL is a league of production, and if you're not getting the job done and winning when it matters most, your job's gonna come to an end really soon. Another tweet that went pretty viral was basically this guy saying Austin Matthews was an L, Marner gave him way too much was an L, Nylander, another L contract, and Tavares was a waste of money. And speaking of Johnny T, he was actually trending in Canada on Twitter following this Dubas firing, which is pretty interesting if you ask me. But anyways, what do you guys think down below? Do you think this was ultimately the best decision for this Toronto Leafs franchise moving forward? And also, do you guys think that now that he's, fired, Austin Matthews will be more inclined to leave the Toronto Maple Leafs because apparently he had a really good relationship with Dubas? But as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.